Welcome to the deep dive. So glad you're joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We have a really fascinating topic today.
We really do. Our mission today is to explore this highly unique educational movement over in Vietnam.
Right. It's called the Lake Kuyan Journey, which was spearheaded by the Talented Minds Agency, or TMA for short.
TMA, right. And what hooked me about this, and I think you listening will find this super relevant, is that they totally flipped the script on how innovation usually happens.
Oh, completely. Because, normally when a massive tech or educational initiative launches, where do they go?
The big cities, Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, places like that.
Exactly. You go where the infrastructure already is.
But this deep dive, we're looking at what happens when you deliberately ignore those hubs. Like what happens when you bring these really high-level discussions about wireless technology and innovation out to the periphery first.
Right. It's a total grassroots approach, which is funny when you look at their branding.
Oh, yeah, the logo.
Yeah, the TMA logo is literally this blue globe with the letters TMA across it.
Very global, very grand.
Right, symbolizing a global perspective.
Yeah.
But their actual strategy on the ground, intensely local.
Hyper-local. And honestly, for you listening, whether you're, I don't know, trying to launch a small side business or learn a complicated new skill or just trying to get over the fear of failure.
Which is all of us, honestly.
Right. The insights we pulled from the seminar, they really offer a masterclass in how confidence is actually built from the ground up.
They really do. So let's dive into that reverse strategy they use.
Let's do it. Because they started out in these areas that, frankly, have way fewer advantages than the major metropolitan hubs.
Right. They kicked this whole journey off in Ninh Thuan back on December 30, 2025.
Right.
And then the specific event we're analyzing today, that was in Nha Trang a few months later, on April 16th, 2026.
And we should probably mention the namesake of the journey, right? Le Quy Don.
Yes, a very famous, great Vietnamese scholar. They chose his name specifically to symbolize this continuous, relentless thirst for learning.
The spirit of discovery.
Exactly.
Reading through the sources, it honestly felt to me like an indie band going on tour.
Oh, how so?
Like, you don't book the massive arena in the capital city for your very first gig, right? You load up the van, you go play the small towns, the dive bars, and you build this fierce, dedicated following first.
That's a great analogy, actually.
But strategically, why do that with tech education? Like, what is the actual advantage of bringing these high-level topics to the places where they're least expected instead of just going to the established tech center?
Well, I mean, think about the established centers. They're completely saturated.
Oh, sure. Too much noise.
Right. If you host a tech seminar in a massive city, it's just one of 50 things happening that week.
Yeah.
But when you go to the edges, to these less privileged areas, you're building a much more resilient foundation.
Because the kids there are hungrier for it.
Exactly. You are bringing a spark to an environment that is genuinely starving for it. And it proves a massive point, which is that innovation doesn't require a metropolitan zip code to thrive.
Wow, yeah. It democratizes the whole concept of who gets to be an innovator.
Spot on. But of course, doing it this way is not easy. The dedication it takes is, well, it's intense.
Oh my gosh, the logistics. The report highlighted this perfectly. To make the Nha Trang event happen, the TMA team literally woke up at 3:20 a.m.
3 in the morning, just to catch a flight.
Right, a flight just to ensure they could hit a strict 1:30 p.m. start time at the school.
Which just shows how seriously they take this. They aren't treating it as a casual side project.
No, not at all. And the scene when they actually got there, it's kind of wild to visualize.
The multi-purpose hall, yeah.
Yeah, we have these images and details from the report. It's this multi-purpose hall packed with nearly 550 students.
The 10th and 11th graders mostly.
Right, plus about 30 teachers. But the crazy part is, it wasn't a formal setup at all.
No desks.
No desks. The students literally brought their own small plastic stools.
Yeah, just sitting shoulder to shoulder, super close together.
Which is very intimate, but I have to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Because typical academic seminars, especially corporate ones, they are highly formalized for a reason. You've got the heavy rows of desks, the big wooden podium, the rigid agenda.
Right, a classic lecture hall vibe.
Exactly. And I get that it looks cool and grassroots to sit on tiny stools, but does removing those physical formalities actually change how these young minds process complex information? I mean, a tiny stool doesn't suddenly make you understand math.
No, it doesn't teach you math.
Right.
But it completely changes the psychology of the room.
How so?
Well, think about what a heavy desk and a massive podium actually do. They create a physical hierarchy.
Oh, I see. The expert on high.
Right. It builds a barrier. It tells the student, I am the untouchable expert up here, and you are just the passive subordinate down there.
Which is super intimidating,
Yeah,
especially for high schoolers.
exactly. Yeah. But by sitting on these small stools in this really casual, packed, close-knit setting, the barrier just drops.
It's like they're all in it together. Wait, I messed that up. I mean, you feel less like you're being lectured at and more like you're just having a conversation.
Exactly. It creates a space where students feel safe. Safe enough to nod along, show empathy, and most importantly, ask highly vulnerable questions later on.
Which they totally did, and they needed that safety, honestly, given the topic. Because the speaker was Dr. David Nghiem, and he was on stage for nearly 2 hours.
2 hours is a lifetime for a teenager.
Right, and he wasn't talking about, pop culture. He was talking about antenna technology, wireless communication, modern tech ecosystems.
Really heavy, abstract engineering stuff.
It's basically like trying to explain the intricate mechanics of a combustion engine to someone who just wants to learn how to drive a car.
That is a perfect way to put it, yeah.
So how did he do it? How do you keep 550 high schoolers engaged with wireless tech for 2 straight hours without them just checking out?
Well, he didn't give them a dry physics lecture. He didn't focus on the math of the antennas.
Okay, then what did he focus on?
He focused on the mindset of building them. He wove all these complex subjects into his own personal journey.
Oh, so he made it a narrative.
Yes,
Hmm.
he framed these massive tech advancements not as cold equations, but as a series of personal challenges, these real dare to think, dare to do moments.
I love that. Dare to think, dare to do.
Right. By doing that, he made the abstract concepts highly tangible. He grounded them in human experience.
Which perfectly set up the Q&A session. Because, man, the Q&A was easily the standout moment of the whole event.
Oh, without a doubt, the students were so engaged.
Yeah, especially this one 10th grade student. Get this, she was a literature major.
At a wireless tech seminar.
Right, and she stood up and asked the ultimate question. How do you take a mere idea and turn it into an impactful real-world project?
Such a profound question for a 10th grader.
Seriously. And Dr. Ningham's response was incredible. He basically told her that having a good environment or a great idea is only the starting line.
Right, the execution is what actually matters.
Yes, real-world observation and continuous testing. And he shared this specific, crazy anecdote from his own career to prove it.
The coal mine story.
The coal mine. He explained that to design a workable wireless solution, he couldn't just sit in a lab. He literally traveled to Kwangmin and went deep down into the physical coal mines.
Just to observe the actual working conditions firsthand.
Right, to see how the signals bounced around the rock and the machinery. It's
Yeah.
it's like trying to design the perfect kitchen without ever actually cooking a meal in it.
That is exactly it. You can't know what works until you're in the mess of it.
But that makes me wonder, for the listener, why is it that so many innovators, or even just people in everyday life, get trapped in that idea phase?
Oh, that's easy.
Why do they refuse to go down into their own metaphorical coal mines?
Because the theoretical is safe.
Safe, yeah.
Ideas are completely perfect when they're just in our heads. They don't fail, they don't get criticized. But the coal mine represents the messy, unpredictable reality of actually executing your idea.
Where things break.
Exactly. Where you realize your idea has flaws. Dr. Nghiem was teaching these kids that true innovation requires you to get your hands dirty and adapt to reality.
And that reality is scary, which transitions perfectly into the psychology of confidence, because these students, they are getting really vulnerable.
Very. The questions get deeply personal.
Yeah, there was this student from class 10A1 who asked how to overcome the inevitable failures that come with the creative process.
Which is a heavy question, and Dr. Ningham's answer was basically, failure isn't the end. It's just about what you learn when you fall down.
Right. And then another student stood up and confessed something that I think everyone listening to this has felt at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
The student said they have all these ideas, but they just completely lack the courage to start.
To admit that in front of 550 of your peers and a renowned expert.
Takes so much guts.
It really does. And Dr. Am didn't just give a generic motivational speech. He shared the origin of his own confidence.
Yes. His story about moving to the U.S.
Right. He told them how when he first moved there, his English was really limited and he honestly lacked self-esteem.
Which is wild to think about given where he is now.
Exactly. But he said that through just daily grinding persistence, he eventually got to the point where he was teaching entirely in English at U.S. universities.
So his core message was basically that confidence doesn't arrive before you start the work.
Right. It is built during the process of learning and doing.
It's so backwards to how we usually think. We treat confidence like a VIP pass. You need to show the bouncer before you're even allowed into the club.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's saying you only get the VIP pass by surviving out on the dance floor first.
I love that analogy. And honestly, it is such a transformative piece of advice.
It really is.
Because we live in this world of massive information overload. People just sit around waiting to feel ready before they act.
Oh, the analysis paralysis is real.
It is. But Dr. Ning proves that action must precede confidence. He completely shifted those students' paradigm from this fear of failure to an expectation of growth.
And you could physically feel that shift in the room, right? The aftermath of this event was just electric.
Even though they were running super late.
Yes. It was running so late that the kids were actually at risk of missing their last buses home, but no one cared.
The hall stayed completely heated with excitement. Hands were still raised, questions kept coming.
And when it finally ended, it wasn't just polite clapping. It was this long, sustained applause, just a total awakening of inspiration in that room.
And we shouldn't forget the human element here, too.
Right, the scholarships.
Yeah, TMA wasn't just there to drop knowledge and leave. They provided tangible support. They gave out scholarships to students in difficult circumstances right there at the event.
Putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly.
So, to summarize the core takeaway here for you listening, this TMA journey proves that if you want to create a monumental shift in mindset, you really don't need a grand metropolitan beginning.
You don't need the shiny auditorium.
No. A 3 a.m. flight, a room full of tiny plastic stools, and just the willingness to share your failures, that is enough to ignite a massive spark in the most unexpected places.
It's all about the willingness to just start.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over today. Dr. Nghiem found his reality check by physically going down into the coal mines of Kwangmin.
Right, he faced the messy reality of his ideas.
So what is the coal mine in your own life? What is that messy, unglamorous reality that you've been actively avoiding, which might hold the exact data you need to finally turn your biggest idea into reality?
Something we all need to ask ourselves.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.